Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Now, normally at this time, noon on a Sunday, I would be coming to you live, sharing a project from start to finish. But I'm currently away from my craft desk, and so I've pre-recorded this. But as I would normally do on a live, the project I'm going to share with you, we're going to make together, starting from scratch here. And I'll be working my way through. Normally you will get the opportunity to put comments in the chat. You won't be able to do that this time, but if you do have any comments, then you can always put them in the comments section below the video. So this is my kind of sort of live, and last week I introduced you to the fact that one of my all-time favorite colors of Stampin' Up, Lost Lagoon, was coming back into the Stampin' Up family. And I also mentioned that this is such a lovely color, it seems to go with lots of other colors as well. Now, the other good news is that another favorite of mine, which is Lemon Lime Twist, has also come back into the Stampin' Up family. And like I shared with you last week, I never got rid of my ink pad and cardstock for the Lost Lagoon, and the same is true of the Lemon Lime Twist. Now, I'm really not a hoarder. I tend to, as things retire, I do tend to find new loving homes for them. But there's just something about some of the colours that I wanted to hold on to. So today we're going to do a project, and I'm going to try and combine these two colours, my two favourite returning colours, together. So my thought was to make something that's 3D. Now I have a little drawer in my craft room. I'll try and get it out for you. Of course, it's behind a load of stuff, as these things always are. I'll try and not wreck the entire work surface. Now, this is my little drawer that I keep bits in. So if I have an idea for a 3D item, I've got some stray embellishments there. I can go into my drawer and I can sort of pull out some samples. So we've got some of these little Yankee candles. These are like little melt patties. You have to put a flame under them and they'll work. I've got things like Reese's cups. I've got cuticle cream. I've got Nivea. Look, I've even got a Ferrero Rocher. I've got lip balm, Lindt chocolates, Reese's cups. I've got all sorts of bits and pieces in here. Ghirardelli chocolate. To be honest with you, none of the, oh, even a Hershey's nugget, look at that. None of these, oh, there's a mint patty thing there as well. None of these can be eaten because heaven knows how long they've been in the drawer. But they're there for when inspiration strikes. Those smell really good, and I don't know how old they are, but they smell really good. And I've even got, like, these are some tea bags here that I've made a little holder for at some point. So those are my inspirational pieces. And when I went and had a look, I had some of these sticky notes. And I think I got them in the dollar store, which in the UK would probably translate into the pound shop. And I think they particularly took my note because of these lovely curved edges. I think that's what attracted me to them. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and use one. So here we go. there's one. I just sort of took it out of the packet so I could have a good look at it and see what we've got going on here. So the first thing that I do is to measure, to see what I've got going on. And last Sunday, I shared with you how I create like a box from scratch. And so I thought, well, let's do a similar thing, not a box, but a cover for my post-it note. Oh, sorry, not allowed to say that, sticky notes. And what I thought was I would like to have this so that it can sit on my desk ready for me to use. So this starts, it's 3 inches. So it's 3 inches long plus however wide it is, and it's like a 1/2 inch wide. And then the back is going to be 3 inches as well. So that gives me a total of 6.5 inches. That's easy. Okay. And then it's 2 inches wide. So times 2 inches. I want to just make my cover just a tiny bit wider than this sticky note pad, and for it to have a little bit of a hangover at the end here. So I'm gonna add 1/8 of an inch. I think that's going to be enough. 1/8 of an inch. That will give me like a 1/16 of an inch either side. And if I add say 1/8 of an inch here, then that will give me, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add 1/8 of an inch on the front plus 1/8. So that will give me, so 1/2 an inch is 4/8. So 6 5/8 times 2 1/8. So this is going to be my piece of cardstock. So that's going to be like 6 5/8 there by 2 1/8 there. All right, now I need to score. So this is going to be my top there, and I want that first score to come at 3 1/8, and then I need a 1/2 inch. I need a 1/2 inch spine. So that's 1/2 an inch is 4/8 plus 1/8. So is 4/8. So that makes that 3 5/8. So these are going to be my 2 score lines. All right. So let's decide which colour I would really like to have my base. I think I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon as my base, and have I got a scrap? No, I'm going to have to cut into a sheet. Oh, gonna have to cut into a whole sheet. So with my trimmer, I'm going to cut a piece. So if I do 2 1/8 like this, and then I need 6 5/8. So I need to put my glasses on for the 6 5/8. So there's my 6 5/8. And then I'm going to score at 3 1/8. Excuse me. Excuse me, that sounds like a cup of tea cough to me. It's what my grandmother would have said. Oh, you obviously need a cup of tea, Cindy, to get rid of that cough. Right, so that's not a very good score. 3 5/8. Let's just pop that back in and whizzle that back up there. There we go. I'm sure I'm going to need that again in a minute, but we're just going to put our score lines in and see what we have. Right, so let's see if the measurements work. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So I don't know if you can see, I have got a nice little margin either side. The back is flush, which I wanted, and then the front has got a little lip, so that when you touch it, when you pick it up, you don't pick up all the pages. So that worked beautifully. Ooh, very happy with that. So that's my first part. Now I need to make a piece on the top. So so my decorative paper has to be, or my top layer, let's call it top layer, because I think I'm going to use card. So if I make that, so that's 3 1/8. So if I make that 2 7/8, and this is 2 1/8, so I make that 1 7/8. That's how big I need that piece to be. And I'm going to use the lemon lime twist. Now the other day when I shared with you, I think everyone's on my side today. I've got a scrap. Now I have to say that since this retired, and I can't remember when it retired, since this cardstock retired, I haven't used it. So that scrap has been sitting in there forever. So this I need 2 1/8. That doesn't look right. No, it's 2 7/8. There we go. Is that it? 2 7/8. I can't remember what I was going to tell you now. So there's that piece like that. Okay. Now I want to do something with this piece, but I don't want necessarily. I've just had another think about using this paper, and then I'm not sure what the other. This is the Hello Irresistible paper, and I did use it last week, and I've used it on several other projects, which hopefully you will be able to find those videos. They are in on my channel here. I'm just trying to find, that's what I'm trying to find. See, it says we've got Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, and Soft Seafoam. So there isn't actually anything here that is lemon lime twist. But I am not going to let that discourage me, because I have a feeling that the lemon lime, that the soft seafoam might just no, that's too pale. So maybe let's see what else I can find. It's a shame because that soft sea foam is beautiful. Well, is that going to be too dark? Okay, I'm going to think again. So I thought I'd decorate my my piece, my project up with Petal Park, because it has a lovely coordinating punch, which escapes me at the moment. Hold on. Well, perhaps it doesn't escape me. So I thought that the stamp has got this nice little blossom, and so this is going to be very feminine, so that's why I'm going to use the flowers, and I want to do tone on tone. So tone on tone means using the same colour ink as your cardstock. Now this ink pad I have just pulled out of the cupboard. I haven't re-inked it and I haven't used it in however many years, and it must be at least 3 years since we had this paper, this colour, and these ink pads are just super duper. They just, well, as I say, that has been sitting in the cupboard for, I don't know, 3 years, and it's come up beautifully. Right, so I think I'm going to stick that on there like that. And make sure it's on the right side. Yes, so that's the top cover. How are we doing so far? If you're enjoying this, perhaps you go ahead and give me a thumbs up, a like there. Right. Well, that's looking quite good. And the perfect thing to put on here is just a note. And so, as I say, my go-to greeting stamp set is my absolute favourite for that. So we need a little bit of white cardstock. And I'm going to put that in oh drat, I've got a little bit of overstamp, and that's because I got some ink there, so I just got to be a bit careful. That's better. And this is the same punch that I used the other day, the double oval punch. Just to sort of try and remain some consistency. And I've got quite a lot of white space on there, so maybe I'll just add a little bit of this here, just to fill the white space. There we go. So now we just got to decide, shall I just, let me see, there's not a lot of room for this. Let's see how that would go. See, that scalloped is a weeny bit too wide. So maybe we just need to leave that kind of like that. Right, now, this was my next thing. As I said, I wanted it to sit on my desk so that it's sort of nice and sturdy. And I thought, well, it needed a bit more weight than this. It probably weighs like 2 or 3 ounces. So I went ahead and I got some of this chipboard. This is just chipboard that comes on the back of the Stampin' Up! Specialty papers. And I've added a little bit of little double-sided tape. So this was one of my sort of preparatory thoughts. And I'm going to use a double layer. So now everything is lined up. I can then gently pull these pieces down. Come on. Like that. Which direction are you going in? It would help if if I pull it in the right direction, it comes off real easy. So my thought is to attach this to the back here, and then that would give me a nice little platform for my notepad to sit on. But now I got some ugly card, so I think this is where I'm going to go back to my paper. I'm determined to use it. Can you tell? I'm determined I'm going to use this paper again. Now then, there was one I thought, now this is a nice one. I like that. Let's see if there's another one that I like. I'd love to use this pinky stuff one, but I think it's just it doesn't really go. See, it doesn't go with a lemon lime twist. Well, not to my mind anyway. Others might love it, but it doesn't go to my mind. Now there's another nice one there, which is, but I think I'm going to do this one. So I thought what I would do is I would cover this, and so let's get my little bit of paper out here. Where did it go? Oh, now I've dropped my back thing. There we go. Now then, there. So this piece measures 3 1/4. So this backing is 3 1/4 times 2 1/4. So I want my piece of paper to be able to go round at the back and sort of fold over at the front, so that these raw edges are covered and the little bit that's showing. So if I cut this piece of paper, if I cut it, let's go crazy, 4 by 3. I'm going to cut it 4 by 3. No, I'm not. I'm going to cut it 4. So if I cut it, that gives me 3/4 of an inch. Let's see what 3/4 of an inch does. So half of 3. Oh, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to cut it 4 by 3. So this is my piece, and I'm going to attach it here. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive. So I hope you're keeping up with me so far and enjoying my self-imposed challenge. We're going to trim off some corners. There we go, some scissors. So I'm trimming off, and I'm going to be leaving just a little bit above each corner. Like that. And then I'm just going to start to gently fold my paper around. Just gently, so it doesn't crack the paper. And now I can pull this over like this. And if you've ever sort of covered a book or anything like that, this is how you would do it. Now see, look, there was one of my mistakes. I cut that corner there just a tiny bit too close, so I've got a gap. I'm not happy about that. The others aren't too bad. Right, so we're going to add some liquid, and you could also use the double-sided tape, but we're going to use the liquid for the minute. So I'm making sure that the adhesive is up against the card there, if you can just see. And that way I know it's going to stick to the edges of the card. I'm going to get these little clippy things out and stick to the edges of the card like that, and that will just hold that in place for a few minutes while that dries. So I know I'm going to have to cut another piece of paper, because originally my thought was that I would put this down and it would just all be on the back, but I'm not happy with those gaps. So I'm gonna add another piece. Pop these little peggy things. I got these from the local hobby shop. For a display, and they're now coming in handy. Right, so while that's there, let's just, so I need to probably cut, if I cut a piece 3 1/8 by 2 1/8, I think that will do. So 3 1/8 by 2 1/8. So what's this piece? So this piece is just under 2. So this should be, okay, so if I do this at 3 1/8 that way, by 2 1/8 that way, that should fit on there, and that could be my bottom piece then. Right, while that sets up, I'm going to just finish this little bit off. What did I do with my double-sided tape? There it is. And I'm going to stick the tape to the pad. I don't know if I've ever said this to you, but if you always put your adhesive on the smallest piece that you're sticking together, then you'll know that you'll get your adhesive in the right place. By that I mean, if you were to put it on here and you've got it outside of where this piece will go, you'll have like exposed tape, and you've got to deal with that, getting rid of that stickiness then. There. So this actually will be refillable. I can always stick another pad of these Post-its on my dainty, pretty little desk holder, and this would make a great little gift for somebody, I think. If you do craft fairs, it would make a great item for a craft fair, as a little stocking filler or hostess appreciation gift. Right, so make sure it's on the right place again. Make sure my little tabs are out. And we're going to attach it to there. Make sure it's lined up. And we've got a fairly even border either side. I hope you can just see this. All right. Oh, you wretched nuisance. My little adhesive tab moved. Right. Now hold it firmly and pull the tape in the direction. And then press it firmly. There we go. And we can put our little note. I'm just going to perhaps put that on with a couple of dimensionals. Like that. So that's that piece, and this should be sufficiently dried now. We can go and put a little bit of adhesive on the back of our extra piece I just cut. There, and got some double-sided tape on here. Oh, look how the tape's accumulated on that side. Right. So I'm just going to do the edges with this and just take that little piece back. And I think you were able to see that when I use this technique just now to help put the cover on to the pad, I was able to pop it down and maneuver it and make sure that it was centered without everything sticking down. And that's because I've only got a little bit of my adhesive exposed. And I can do the same again. Again, I'm going to center this up like that. And then I'm going to press down where my exposed corners are, and then just gently pull the tape away. And it's all centered, because with this double-sided tape, you know, it's kind of, when you once and done, when you put it down, then you can't take it up again without it damaging whatever it is that you that you've stuck it to. So there we are. Well, I think it deserves some bling. I'm going to put a big old rhinestone in there, and then just maybe a couple there. And we're done. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this little project. I'm going to bring it up a little bit so that you can see it clearer. There, that bit lifts up. We've got that lovely little lip that allows us to just flip that up, and then we've got our notes. We've got a lovely solid base. Now maybe sometimes you can get some little rubber feet at the hardware store, somewhere like Home Depot, Lowe's, or in the UK the one, is it Smiths used to own, or I can't remember what it's called. Oh, that annoys me when I can't remember. You could put some little rubber feet on the bottom just to sit on your desk, but that is really solid, really firm, and a really cute addition to your desktop. Well, I do hope you have enjoyed me working through using some of our returning colours. I've certainly enjoyed working the idea through as we progressed. If you have enjoyed the video, perhaps you'll go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Any comments, please pop them below. I'd love to read them, and if you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And then if you don't already subscribe, perhaps you'll do that as well. Well, that is my project for today. I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be back next week to share some more ideas and maybe some more new colours. Who's to say? I've got some time to think about that between now and then. So until next time, thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye for now.